turn off their cell phones.
Diane, roll call.
Okay. Makosi.
Here.
Daniil. Here. Peretti.
Here.
Longo.
Here.
Brous.
Here.
Kabinski. Here. McIntyre. Here. What? Yes.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion to approve the minutes for 11/28, 11/29 of 22, and 1/10 of 23?
I'll make the motion that we approve those minutes.
Second.
Roll call, Diane?
Makosi.
Yes.
Daniil. Yes. Peretti.
Yes.
Longo.
Yes.
Brous.
Yes.
Kabinski. Yes. McIntyre, yes.
Okay, I don't have any correspondence. Owners request to speak. We have Kathy Brous, Peggy O'Keefe, Carol Fletterbacher, Vicki Mullen, Wally Tejan, Keith Keller, and Art Lukey.
Oh, good.
Okay, let's do the treasurer's report.
A treasury report for year-end 2022. Now, this report is a unaudited report. The CPA firm is in the process of doing an audit on our books for the year, and these numbers could change a little bit by the time they are finished. Income for the month of December was $270,000. Expenses was $308,000. Cash available as of 12/31 was $245,000. And for the year, we did really well. There's only 2 categories out of our 5 that we budget for that were over budget. One was administration, and there, one of the big things is we bought a new TOPS program. It's our internal accounting system. We keep a lot of information dealing with Monterey on that system. It's an updated system. It'll be easier to work with. Let me get another sheet here. There's some salaries in there as well, a lot of overtime. And as you know, Joey from the golf course crew, he left, and he was due 3 weeks vacation when he left, so that was paid there. The only other one is in outside contracts. They were over by about $20,000. The big one there is there was a double payment in January to Comcast of $25,000, and propane and electric was much higher than what we anticipated, which we have no control over. So, but overall, it was a very good year, and we'll have our final numbers in a couple weeks, most likely, from the accounting firm.
Victor, can I ask a question on this? Excuse me. As being a non-expert in financial, the bottom line is, to me, it looks like we had a budget of over $3 million, right?
Right.
And we had a net loss of $9,786. Is that how I read that?
That number will most likely change.
What I'm saying is that's very good for a $3 million budget.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We're only $9,000 off on all the unknowns that we have in here,
Exactly.
which is, I think that's a great accomplishment. That's the way I read it, isn't that right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Hopefully, we think that number's going to turn around to a positive by the time the accounting firm's done.
By the time they do depreciation.
Okay, do board comments. Bob, you have anything?
Yeah, I have 2 things. Number one, I mentioned it the other day at Chris's meeting, that on Sunday, somebody was working on their building out here, and somebody brought to my attention. So I went over there, and I called the person, and you don't want to know what he said to me. F this, F that. I mean, he was very unprofessional and so forth. And I said, geez, we're just doing, somebody reports something, as a board, we have to act on it. He was all upset and this and that, and he wanted to know who told me and this and that. I said, I refuse to tell you who told me. Is it true or not true? He said, yes. Well, then you're going to have to stop working, okay? I called him back, and I didn't, he apologized to me for using the profanity and so forth, which was a good blow on that. But it's very, you know, you don't know what the directors, sometimes we get some errant people that just lace on you, and they don't stop. And it's very uncalled for to use, especially profanity to anybody, especially on a board with somebody trying to do their job, okay? If we were wrong, that'd be a different issue. And the other thing, well, I'm sure that, no, that's it. Oh, I think that's all I had to say on that thing. Oh, one other thing, yes. Yesterday, after the meeting, I went downstairs and I heard somebody knocking on the garage, the door leading into the pool room. They got trapped in there. All right, what happened is if somebody turns that deadbolt lock in the pool room and you're in the garage and that door is shut, you can't get out.
There is an extra button in there,
And
Bob.
that button does not work.
It will if you push it 2 or 3 or 4 times. Because it's got to reprogram. It's
We
gotta
tried
reprogram.
it. We pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. And fortunately, we're walking by, I hear somebody pounding on it.
Okay.
He obviously did not have his key with him, because.
Well, even if you had the
No,
key,
you
you
had
can
to-
open up that bottom one, but if they
Yeah,
turn
the
that deadbolt
deadbolt
lock.
was
Deadbolt,
locked.
I
The
got
deadbolt was
Yeah,
locked.
the
Yeah,
deadbolt.
so I don't know what we can do about that. Is there any way, do we need that deadbolt lock on there?
Bolt out,
Yeah,
Wait, what's that deadbolt really for?
so that nobody can get in that door.
So they can get in through the garage door anyway?
Exactly.
So I,
I'll take the deadbolt out.
Yeah. You don't need the deadbolt anyway.
I'll take the deadbolt, no problem.
so I got credit for a rescue.
I got trapped in there. I had to call Grace. Down here with the golf cart.
Oh, you got caught too?
She let you out?
Pull the release cord.
that's impressive.
Lorraine, do you have
I
anything?
don't have anything.
No? Gene?
Nothing, please.
Okay, I don't have anything. Vic?
Just one thing, some of you might have heard that our accounting, or our bank account at Truist was compromised. Yes, it was. There were 3 checks that went through. It's called washing checks, which I don't know a whole lot about. We need to get the guy from Catch Me If You Can, come in and tell us. But the checks went through the bank, they were stopped, and they were not paid out. So Monterey did not lose any money due to these compromised checks. We did open up a new bank account the very next day, so everything is back to normal.
Yeah.
Nothing at this time.
Diane?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Move on to the new business then. Diane, rules and regulations, the resolutions.
Yes. As I talked about in the last meeting, I'm making a recommendation that we make some changes to the resolution for the Rules and Regulation Committee. I think everybody has the handout in front of them. What I've done is kept the number of committee members at 7, reduced the number of board members to 1, which then gives an opportunity for more residents to be part of this committee. I strongly believe that this committee needs residents on it. As board members, we all review the rules and regs. So in addition to the 3 members that were originally on the committee, we have 4 other ones that look at it. So again, I'm looking at this from an opportunity for residents to be more participant in the rules and regulations and understanding them.
All right, Diane, I have a couple questions. The, number one, the rules and regulations, what is that resolution superseding? It can't,
It is superseding, the resolution before was 2012-07.
Okay, that's.
okay, I have
yeah, that's an old resolution.
21508.
Yeah, that's an
Well,
old.
that was rescinded.
Yeah. Well, 21508 was,
1508 that's the newest one.
Okay, that's the newest one then.
Yeah.
So then,
It should have been in the book in there, but you probably got one of the old ones, Diane.
well, I did get one of the old ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
but that book in there is updated because I updated it last year, and everything is updated as far as all the resolutions. The question is that this resolution is Resolutions and Documents Committee, okay? You're addressing the Rules and Regulations Committee, but it's a combination of the both of them. I think the reason they did that was it was supposed to be like the rules and regulations would meet once a year, and then the subcommittee of the director members only will do the personnel policies. That was the reason why they rescinded in 2015.
Well, as you note, there's nothing in here about the subcommittee, and there was nothing in the,
Yeah,
in
Well,
the
this
rules.
one there is,
This old
the updated
resolution,
one
yeah.
there is.
Yeah.
It's
I have the updated one. This is the one I-
2015-08.
This is the one I have, took out of the book,
What number is it?
2015-08.
And it doesn't say, mine says it here, a subcommittee of the director members will be clearly defined in written form on all personnel policies. I don't know which one you have.
Okay.
Let me see that. Pass it down. Yeah, this is resolution 07-12. This is an older resolution. It was rescinded by the 2015-08. I see over to the side there. That's this one here. The original resolution read, the King Mountain, what happened in 2015, it went from the Rules and Resolutions Committee, and they combined the personnel policy in with it, okay? And that made this new resolution. So it read, the King Mountain Condominium Association Board of Directors wishes to merge the Rules and Resolutions Committee with the Personnel Policy Committee to ensure that the association's digital records are kept current. Hereby resolved that the Rules and Documents Committee consists of 6 members, 1 alternate, as required and formed by April 1st of each year to serve until March 31st of the following year. The members may include 3 directors and 4 members at large. Members may be self-nominated in any director or by the committee, blah, 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 blah. It goes down through. The subcommittee of director members only will clearly define in written form all personnel policies. So one of the things is, I know you wanted to go to just 1 director on that, but I don't think we can do that because you have to have at least 2 directors on there because of the personnel policy part of it.
Well,
Okay, and they can rotate too, it doesn't make any difference, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, rotate the people in and out regardless.
okay, just a couple comments.
Yeah.
This was the only resolution that was in the book, so I don't,
I debate
We had
that.
everything straightened out
It's
last
all in
year,
the
Bob
book
and I-
there. And
yeah.
I don't want to get in an argument or anything, but
Yeah.
it's all in the book because I updated it. I have a personal
We were-
copy.
yeah,
I think
we were-
Ron has a personal copy. There's a copy in there, all updated from last year, because Ron and I did it.
We both did it, yeah.
We read every resolution, and we looked at it, and it's all up to date. Unfortunately,
It's actually in a separate book from all the other resolutions.
it's,
I'm the one who gave Diane the book.
well, you gave her the wrong one then. No, I'm not being sarcastic or
No,
anything.
there's a book that says
Rules and regulations.
resolutions 1988 to current. It was not in that book.
It's in, you want me to go get it?
What I'm-
It's in there.
Because what I'm asking you, is there a different book?
There could be, Chris, I don't think so, but it was in there last year, I know that, because when we went through everything,
I gave you that book.
I know you did, I know you
Yeah.
did.
I think we should table this until the next meeting so we can,
look, well, that's fine. I mean,
so we
it's-
can,
I mean, there's
iron
gotta be
out
some
the
changes
situation.
made into it anyway now because it's a different resolution. That's fine, I mean, is this something that you want to get the committee together with and discuss it, or,
No, not necessarily.
okay.
Okay, but that's not the book that I was given.
That's not the book that I gave her. That's what I just said, there's a book.
There's
a
two
book
books.
that says Board Resolutions 1988 to current.
It's the wrong one.
Did not know, exactly, I'm just saying.
Okay.
I think we should table it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, I mean, yeah, we have to table it now, because we don't have any choice, because it's a total different resolution.
well, I make a motion that we table this until the next meeting.
and I second it.
Okay. Okay.
This is going to be a great meeting.
Well, let's move on to the next one, the purchase of the AED. Diane?
Okay, this is like the hot seat right here, huh?
Oh, no, babe, no.
You know, I am injured.
No, that's,
Oh, no,
Yeah, yeah, I am injured.
Hey.
just going to blame it on Chris.
We'll blame the manager, Diane, don't worry. He's got big shoulders, he's a short timer.
Okay, let's talk about this. Actually, it came up about 5 or 6 years ago, and at that time, the board was not in support of having an AED. I believe that we should do that. I've asked Maura to make an arrangement for CPR classes to be taught, and then maybe take the next step I think that I'm just going to make a little joke here, so everybody laugh. Anybody who was at the last two parties at the yacht club and danced as hard as they did could clearly have a heart attack. You know? So
You're right, that was funny.
truly, this is an opportunity for me to push for the AED. Again, Sue has put that list out. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do the CPR class. It's offered on January 28th because I'm going to be having surgery on February 1st. But I strongly believe that as a community, we should really follow through with this. So I guess it's going to be put on hold again.
No, I don't think so.
Thank you.
This is something we really need to address. We need 2 AEDs, period.
Yeah, I think that, I think what they already did, correct me if I'm wrong, Sue, Tom, didn't you guys, you're in a process of having somebody come here to give us a brief review of CPR and the AED? Is that true? Yes. So you're in the progress of already doing this? Yes. Okay, good. They're not going to train on. No, I know, right. But they're in the process of doing it. Okay, now the funding of it comes, I don't know if Maura was interested in funding it at one time, the board or whatever, but I know it's not in our budget for this year. But I don't know if there's any other way they can pay for it through Maura or whatever.
Yeah, they run between $1,400 and $2,000 from, I looked it up, so, I
Yeah.
mean, which isn't that big of a deal, you know. I mean,
But I'm sure that we could find that in the budget if we
We
get
should be
approved.
able to find the funds somewhere.
Yeah,
Whether
yeah.
it's from operating more or any other committee that would be willing to contribute.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll have a lot of people that are interested in performing CPR and/or the AED. From what I understand, it's pretty elementary to do the AED now.
My understanding is a system that you can't do it wrong.
You
If
can't.
you do it wrong, it
We'll
won't
find a way
work.
to do it.
Right, you will not be able to shock someone. If the person does not need resuscitation, it will not happen.
Hang on one second, Carol.
Okay, Carol. Oops, sorry. Thought I was the boss.
Anybody that signed up to speak for any of these things, just raise your hand so I know you're out there if you want to talk about something. Okay.
I totally agree with Diane. I supported it several years ago when Phyllis Dollar brought it up. And I just wanted to say that after Damar Hamlin went down, they were on GMA, and that Dr. Jennifer Ashton, who is their medical consultant, was showing people how to use one and what was done to him. The question came up, would it be smart for people to have it in their homes? And she said, absolutely. The only thing that would prohibit you is the cost. So my thinking is, if my grandkids are with me, Rick's not home, my granddaughter's 11, the other one's 7, and I know she could take it off the wall and hook it up and do it properly and would not kill me.
No.
I'd rather know that my life might be saved than laying there dead because we're debating whether we need an AED or not.
Okay, Kathy's back there, wants to talk.
Again, I am definitely for the AEDs. We had 2 linemen. One was electrocuted. There was no hope for him. The other one, we used the AED and we saved his life. So I am all for this. I brought this up when I was on the board. They poo-pooed it. It's very easy to use, talks you through it. I am so for this, and this complex needs it.
Yeah, they're very user-friendly. I mean, as long as you're not scared to use it. You can't really make a mistake.
No, I'm for buying it. I'm for buying it. Yeah. I move that we, well, I don't know.
Wait, well,
Are we-
I got one other question, please.
What? Okay.
Chris, we checked in this before, the liability is recovered. Okay. Under the Good Samaritan law, I
Samaritan
believe.
They can still sue you, anybody can sue, but Florida does have the Good Samaritan law, and I've already checked with Damien,
Right.
we are covered liable.
So if playing devil's advocate, if that machine is out here and there's 15 people out here and they look at that thing and they don't do anything with it, they're not liable. Okay.
No.
That would be the big thing.
Just because it's
If
there
nobody
does
used it.
not mean you have to use it. If somebody doesn't want to, you can't force them.
We're looking at 2 of them, one at the,
One here and one at
That's
the-
what I
one
would
at
say,
the-
2.
yeah, yeah.
2.
We're talking $3,000 to $4,000. Maybe one of the committees can contribute something or whatever, but no matter what, I think we are obligated as a board to provide that to our owners for their safety, whether they're at the pool, at the yacht club dancing, or whatever. And no matter what, we gotta find it. We gotta find the money and purchase it. I move that we purchase 2 of them.
I second it.
I'd like to make a recommendation that some of the board members actually learn how to use it and set an example for our residents.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
anybody can do it, but I think if the board, people see that the board actually believes in it, we'll have better opportunity to encourage people to also participate.
I'll do that, and I'll test it on Chris. See.
I know you already got
If it works properly, I'll explain it. That's right. And if it does go off, then we're in a lot of trouble.
Hey, turn the mic down a little bit over there, will you? Oh, you got it on. Go ahead.
Well, thank you very much.
Let's take a roll call on that now.
Okay, roll call. Makosi,
Yes.
Daniil,
Yes.
Ferretti,
Yes.
Longo,
Yes.
Brous,
Yes.
Kabinski,
Yes.
McIntyre, yes.
Yes.
Okay. I guess the chairlift is me. We have any discussion on the chairlift? Anybody, we've discussed?
I discussed it in length at the workshop meeting.
Yep.
I don't know if you want me to go through it again.
No, I mean, if you have anything to add to it?
Nothing to add to the comment, the 5 different issues
Everybody
that.
seemed to be against it, am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Does anybody out there have anything to say about the chairlift? It's gonna go up, no, okay. Make a motion, and we'll take a vote on it.
I make a motion that we vote on the chairlift,
Yeah, we're not.
we will not purchase a chairlift for Monterey.
We would not allow
Not allowed chairlift.
a chairlift.
I'll make a motion that we won't allow it at Monterey Yacht and Country Club.
We got a second?
I second.
Okay, there we go. Let's take a roll call on that one, Dave.
Makosi,
Yes.
Daniil,
Yes.
Ferretti,
Yes.
Longo,
Yes.
Brous,
Yes.
Kabinski.
Yes.
McIntyre, yes.
Okay, Vic, it's on you. Change of the fiscal year.
Some of the board of directors talked about changing our fiscal year to July the 1st, mainly because our property insurance is due on May the 1st or the beginning of May, and we don't know until then if they're going to increase it, 5%, 10%, 30%, whatever. And it's hard for us to budget what the increase will be. So we talked about changing it, so we would know what the property insurance is, so we can project it for the next year. But there's a lot of unknowns here, unknown cost. We would have to do an audit, we do a review in January, like we always do. We'd have to do another one for the end of June, because we're changing the fiscal year. Plus, there's the cost of just changing it. That additional review, you're talking almost $6,000 there. And as far as we can tell, there would be possibly an IRS charge for changing it. You got attorney's fees will be involved. So we don't, there's a lot of unknowns. It could be $10,000, could be $20,000 cost to do it. What I'm going to recommend at this point then is we hold, it would be July 1st, 2024 is the earliest it could be done. We just don't have time to do it for this year. So I'm going to make a motion that we table this for now, at least for another year. See what happens to the property insurance this year. We know what's happened currently. It might not be an issue when our fees come due in May. We already have built-in amounts in there of 20 to 30%, and we can still live with those numbers as we go along and save the cost of changing the fiscal year. So with that, I'm going to make a motion that we table this until later on, till we find out more information of what might happen down the road.
I'll second
I'll
it.
say,
Go ahead. I just have something to say on that. I mean, do we want to start this process for the following year, or we just want to table the thing?
I would suggest tabling for now until we see what happens with our property insurance in May,
Okay.
and then you're undoubtedly looking at a 3 to 4 month process, maybe even more than that. You get the government involved and they don't
Okay.
move too fast.
Is it possible at this point to start looking at potential cost of what it will be? You know, what is it gonna cost additionals to the homeowners?
Let me ask a question here. Sabrina, have you worked with anything like this before
Changing to
The fiscal
Yeah.
year, yeah.
in your accounting experience?
Yeah, but I don't, what exactly are you asking me? Yes.
Does the IRS charge?
Does the,
I don't remember them charging, because I just think the CPA's probably gonna charge you for
Well, yeah.
filing.
Right.
But I don't remember IRS, when I did it, they weren't charging, because you just file a form and just submit it.
And that is,
But the CPAs are gonna charge you for doing it.
and that is what Kevin Payne said.
Yeah.
That what I gathered, the IRS is just a form, but yes,
It's a real easy
they're gonna have to fill it out for us. And like you said, they do have to do a second review
Right.
within 6 months.
8716.
But you know what, then after, once you do the review, okay, so you're doing this review 6 months in, but then after that, you go back to the old schedule.
right,
Like,
right.
How long does it
Yeah.
take for that process to happen for the government?
Slow,
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
so, but.
Not within the next
What
week
I
or two.
understood wrong when I talked to you, you gotta submit, like, get approval from the residents.
No.
No, not on this, not on this.
Okay.
Not on this, no.
Well, I would say, probably, I would give it about 3 months for IRS to approve. It could be more,
Yeah.
it could be.
So, I mean, you're looking in 2024 if you wanted to do it.
Right.
Yes.
You're never gonna get it
And
done
that's
this
what
year.
I told you.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen this
you're
year.
gonna do it this year, but if you decide too late for next year, you're gonna be pushed out to.
That's why I'm wondering if we want to start the process, if we're going to do this, you know? Find out, at least find out what what our cost will be on it,
Yes, yeah.
okay?
Well, we can get an estimate from our accounting firm,
Yeah.
what they would charge, plus the audit, and check with our attorneys what their fees might be.
It just makes more sense to change this physical year so we're not running into this issue every year
Yeah.
with insurance.
As far as the budgeting part or your monthly maintenance, we would do, let's look at 2024. In October, we would do a budget for the whole year of 2024. And then if this goes through and we decide to change it, we would have to go through the budget process again in most likely May,
May or June. Yeah.
it would have to be May.
Yeah.
That needs to be at least a month before. And we would do then a budget for 12 months. So your increase in maintenance, hopefully there won't be, but we know there is going to be one. Instead of January each year, once we change the fiscal year, it would now be July of each year. So the first year this happens, you could have an increase in January 2024. Then there might be another increase in July, but then that one goes for 12 months.
After that, it won't change.
Then we'll
But
be
you're going to
back in-
pay it, one way or the other, you're still going to pay it. Makes
Yeah.
no difference. I mean, it's just going to be a different year, that's all.
It makes it easier for the budgeting process, because then we have definite figures for insurance. I mean, coming up and saying, hey, we had a $40,000, $70,000 increase in liability insurance due to hurricanes or whatever. Now you'll know the exact cost, and it's, and in our budget. So it's a good idea to change it.
Does anybody out there have any questions, the people that signed up? No? Keith?
The only question that I have is, the Reserve Committee typically needs a lot of data through October almost to make projections for the next year. So if you cut that down to needing that information from the Finance Committee to April or May, that may be very challenging for them.
Yeah, I'm sure that can be changed around. I don't think that's a big issue with changing things around a little bit so we can do what we have to do.
Well, instead of looking at your data to project out from January through December, you would just be doing the July through June now instead. You're just changing your period that you're collecting your data from to do your projections. The first year you'd had to do a projection in the fall of, say, the fall of '23, but then you'd have to do another projection in the spring of '24 to give to the budget committee to do their budget for the following year.
I know that it's on the agenda for tomorrow's meeting. I just think that, you know, especially for those funds that are kind of replenished on an annual basis for the board, for the board benchmarks, it just might become challenging. Just a thought.
I just got to believe that's, I'm just, to speak back, I think that's less of a challenge than what we have with this insurance right now. That's the thing. I mean, insurance is one of our biggest issues, and we have no idea what it's going to be. I mean, it's easier to guesstimate, you know, the different budgets than it is to try to guesstimate the insurances. It's just outrageous, this insurance. And it's not going to change, I don't think, for quite a while.
One thing that's going to help too here from the Finance Committee standpoint is all the members will most likely be here when we do that projection in like April for the following year, where now half of us aren't here in October. We have to either do a Zoom meeting or whatever, and it'd just be a lot easier to have us all here in person.
You okay, Keith, or anybody else? No? Okay.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that, you know, of course, the costs are very important, but there's, when you're dealing with the government, the rules and regulations can change in a second. We should not only look into the cost, but into how stable it is to make the change. Just a thought.
Do you want to rescind your motion and make a new motion, or?
Did you table?
Yeah, I'm going to change it a little bit. I'm going to make a motion that we table this for the time being until we find more information on the cost, which we can get now, and find out what our payment's going to be for property insurance, and make our decision after that.
Okay, that is basically the motion you made.
Is it? Okay.
Okay.
Ralph moved to table, see how prices come in for insurance in May and other associated costs.
Okay.
That's basically what you did right.
Okay.
And seconded by Bob.
So, I mean, even if we started this in May or June, I mean, I think that should give us enough time, don't you think, Sabrina, with this IRS?
That'll give us a year.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yes. Anybody got a second on that, or?
Yeah, I seconded it.
Bob
Second,
second.
okay.
You don't have to vote because of the table.
Okay, okay.
That's right, table.
Okay, you're next again. Waive the audit indefinitely, I think.
Okay. The state of Florida changed their statutes on condominium associations that we had to do an audit every so many years. I believe that number is 5.
No. The state
That's
changed
changed.
it that you do not have.
Well, wait a minute. It was a certain amount of years you had to do an audit.
No.
They have dropped that.
No. The state allowed you to waive an audit for up to
Indefinitely.
3 years.
Okay. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now they have dropped that. We do not have to do an audit anymore. You just need to do a review. We have put it out to the homeowners every year in the voting process to waive the audit for a year. And so we didn't think one had to be done every 3 years or that. So we talked about putting out the owners to waive the audit, not the audit, waive the review, audit,
No,
waive the
no.
audit, I'm sorry, waive the
Indefinitely.
audit completely
Indefinitely.
and just do a review. Then it would be up to the board of directors, and I think we should set a number that we do an audit at, I would say, my opinion would be every 5 years.
Yeah.
We could do it sooner than that if we wanted to, but we won't have to go back to the owners anymore to ask them to do any waiving.
Yeah, I don't like the way it's indefinitely. I mean,
Okay.
Go ahead. I
It
was
said-
just going to say this.
Amanda was here at the last meeting when we were discussing
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And we went in, Vic and I went in and spoke. Amanda is the bookkeeper that has been doing our
Right.
audit and or review for the last 20 years. So Vic and I went in and explained that, look, this is what we're thinking about doing, is waiving it for 4 years at a time, doing it the 5th year. It was actually her suggestion. Have the association waive it indefinitely, knowing that the board of directors can do an audit anytime they want. When I leave, you might say, you know what, we're doing an audit. It makes it, you said okay, so here's why. It makes it easier, number one. And rather than us having to get the members to approve it every year to waive it. Then, the question, because she deals with a lot, well, why are they having us waive it this year? Why are they having it waived next year? Why are they having So it was actually her suggestion, waive it indefinitely, with the knowledge that you guys can do the audit anytime you want. Vic made a suggestion to her, well, what if we did a resolution attached to that saying the board intends to do an audit as needed or at least every 5 years?
Yes.
Yeah, well, see, like I say, I feel very uncomfortable when you use the words indefinitely. And I know she knows much more than I about it. But you can get 7 members on the board, not saying this board, but any board coming up in the future, they could say, oh, heck with it, we'll never have an audit.
Well, here's the thing.
And they could do that, and that's not right.
Here's the thing that she also said. For us, a review is so close
I know.
to the audit that they do for us. She said if you were a Fortune 500 club or company, I would not recommend it, but you're not. And she's also going on her 20 years experience.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure she is, but I just don't like the word indefinitely.
Just giving you
Okay.
information.
Thank you,
That's all I'm doing.
thank you.
One of the things she said that the difference between an audit and a review here at Monterey, they're almost identical, but the only difference is they actually pull invoices to make sure they've been approved and charged out correctly. That's the main difference. Other than that, everything is basically the same.
And $4,000.
Yeah, and $4,000 more, right, because they had to spend more time.
Can I direct a question out to somebody in the audience here that probably knows more about audits and something? I don't want to put anybody on the spot, either Sabrina or, no, like I say, I'm not an expert at this, believe me.
I've worked in a CPA firm and the government end, so.
Yeah. Now, what's your personal opinion on that? I mean, like I say, indefinitely, I can't vote indefinitely
Hang on one second.
for anything.
Okay, what I think the difference is that you were saying, that Chris was saying with the audit that they do back here, the difference between the review and the audit is, or you said it, Vic, that they don't do accounts receivable and accounts payable confirmations. So they don't take the invoices and call up the companies and make sure they're real invoices. Is that what you were saying? The
Right.
difference was?
Basically.
Okay. If that's the only thing they do, I mean, it is almost the same. We need, and what needs to be really confirmed is the cash. How deep do they get into the cash? Chris, what?
The same way.
Like they would do it in an audit?
Yes.
They confirm that with the bank?
Correct. Cash-wise, they do it the same way. They actually check all of our bank accounts, that they still do.
Okay.
They look at our bank statements, they see how much money is in each account, how much money is in CDs, annuities, et cetera. That they do with both the review and the audit.
Okay.
Yeah,
So the only difference is the accounts payable and accounts receivable?
pretty much.
That they don't send out statements to the companies to verify.
Right.
I do feel just, maybe every few years, every 5 years or
Yeah.
whatever, or if you feel there's an issue, maybe you do need to do an audit, but because the same thing that the CPA was saying, it's not Fortune 500, it's small, and if we keep on top of the cash, we verify everything, and if we see something is off, if we stay on top of things, and if we have good internal controls, maybe we're okay with not doing it more often, but the thing that I would think an audit would be good for is keeping, like, once we get a new manager and new people in the offices, it would maybe keep people honest a little bit. But once every 5 years, that's really not much either, so.
No, I think we need to set 5 years, you know.
I kind of like 5 years.
I kind of agree with Sabrina. Is there any way of writing it when we send out our letter that the board has agreed that we will have a full review every 5 years? The years 2023, we're going to waive it for the year 23, 24, 25, whatever, so that they only vote once.
Yes.
So they only vote once
Right.
Yes,
and then we will do an audit on
on the 5th year.
on the 5th year.
So now,
Yeah.
rather than have to do it, you only used to be able to waive 2 years at a time.
Right.
So we have to we always waive 2 and then 1.
Mm-hmm.
Then we did it on the 4th year. So what you would say now is what the people would have to vote on at the annual meeting is, we want you to allow us to waive the audit in lieu of a review for the following 4 years.
Right.
Which would be 23, because they do it in 24.
Yeah.
So 23, 24, 25, 26, the audit will be performed on the 27th.
Yeah, 2027, yes. And then they only vote once.
They
You
go
don't have to.
once every 4 years.
Right.
Yeah,
And on the 5th year, you do an audit.
Right.
Then the next year, you waive it again for 4 years.
Right.
Unless you don't want to, unless there was a change. Unless you changed accountants, you
Right.
changed manager again. And
Yeah.
you may want to do an audit. You don't have to waive it.
I feel we should do it. No offense to you, Chris, but I feel we should definitely do it when a manager leaves. There should be an audit.
I agree.
So that's next, what, 5 years from now? When is it leaving?
2038.
So that means,
2038, I changed it. April 2038.
that means we can't waive the audit for those years you just said. If they want to waive it until a new manager comes in.
Waive it
For next year.
2023.
Yeah.
So we'll do a review in 2023, but then for 2024, which is done in 2025, you will have a new manager.
Yeah.
You want to do an audit then.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Waive it
comf-
for 1 more year.
I think,
Waive it for
Then
one.
you're going to waive it for 1
well,
more
Vicky's
year.
got something to say.
Yeah.
Then you're going to do an audit, then you're going to go to waiving it every 4 years.
5.
4.
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead, Vic.
Wasn't there a question on the ballot, I think it was last year, to waive the audit?
Yes.
Was that just for 1 year?
That's 1 year, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're
Okay,
trying to avoid.
So
by
this
saying
year,
every
the audit is waived, 23?
Possible, yeah.
Okay, so that's what I need to know.
No.
Waived for 2022.
22.
Done in 2023.
This year,
Do the audit in January.
Okay,
For review.
okay, and the meeting was in March of 22
And you waived it for that.
for that year, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That way, they're not
think there's-
redundant, sending out every year.
If you could clarify that we're waiving having an audit done, you still have a review done.
absolutely, yeah. The reviews are still done, yeah.
And it always goes out for a vote.
The
Yes.
reviews are
Every
yearly.
year it goes out
The
for a
reviews
vote.
are yearly, yeah.
Unless it's the year you're doing an audit,
Right.
then you don't have to send it to the membership to say.
And that's what you're trying to change, is we don't have to send this out any longer.
No, after this one.
Change it out on a yearly
that's
basis.
part of it.
Right now, we're doing it on a yearly basis. We want to try to get
It
away
goes,
from that.
yes, it goes out with a packet.
Right.
You have the option to vote to say, go ahead with a review and not an audit, which is, the audit is required.
Right.
Correct.
So what you're trying to change now is, when that packet goes out, you won't have the option to vote on it. Or we will, or clarify for me, you will still get that option every year that will go out in the voting packet.
Okay, so, no.
No.
Okay.
So, what you're gonna do is, from what I understand is, you would like to do an audit when I leave.
Right.
That would be for the year of 2024, which will be done in January of 2025.
Okay.
So what you're gonna do for this year's annual meeting, you're gonna waive it.
Waive the audit for 1
more
year. Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
You're gonna waive it for 2023, which is performed in 2024.
Right.
Right.
So we have to put it on the ballot this year, but
This
you're
year.
gonna waive it for 1 year.
1 year.
Yeah,
The next year, you don't have to do anything, because you're gonna do an audit.
right.
The next year,
Right.
you will put out to the ownership that we want you to waive the audit in lieu of a review for 4
4 years.
years.
Right.
And an audit will be performed on the 5th year.
Right.
Correct.
Everybody get that?
Yes.
Okay.
Or any time in between if the board decides that.
Even if the membership totally up to the board that you can go,
Yeah.
you can't go less, you can't do a compilation, but you can go more.
Right.
Okay. Everybody get that? Okay.
Well-
And we have to do an audit because of the size of our community, the amount of units we have and how much our budget is.
Right.
That's what the state goes by,
Yes.
whether you do a compilation, a review, or an audit.
So what is the difference in the cost of the review,
About $4,000.
Yeah.
and how much is that per unit?
Almost $1.
$1,
Yeah, almost
to go with a full audit versus a review?
But couldn't this be stated that we're waiving your approval to do an audit, but there will be one done a minimum of every 5 years? So we don't have to send that to be voted on every year or every 5 years?
I don't know. I understand what you're saying, like make them vote that, we want you to vote to waive it for 4 years an audit, 4 years an audit, 4 years an audit.
And this is,
I don't know.
It's too
I
complicated.
don't know if you can do it like that. I mean, we can check, but I don't know if you can do it that way.
In other words, what you're going to do is you're going to waive the audit indefinitely, and then every 5 years, we're going to do an audit anyway, regardless.
Okay, so that's what Vic
I know,
originally was
yeah.
saying.
Yes.
Let's waive it indefinitely, but we'll make a caveat that every 5 years, the board intends to do an audit. We just want you to waive it so that every 4th year, we don't have to get you to vote on it.
right.
I thought we were
Put
going
it
to go
there.
back to the other thing there, we just send it out this year to waive it this year, and then they'll have, then the next year you'll send it out about the audit in 5 years from now, I think. I'd say I'm not going to, indefinitely, I don't want nothing to do with
Just make a
indefinitely.
motion. Somebody make a motion.
And as far as the 5 years goes, it would state a minimum of 5 years.
However you want.
Now, that would be my theory.
Yes, but because Chris is leaving, for
Yeah.
this year, it can remain.
Yeah, but we can decide to have an
We
audit
can still
anytime.
decide to do an
As
audit
a
if we
board.
want, regardless at any
Exactly.
time.
Even if you waive it indefinitely as the terming,
Yeah.
you still can have an audit in 2024.
We could decide to have one every year.
Every year, exactly.
Right, it doesn't, I agree.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound good to the public. We're waiving the audit indefinitely.
No,
We're never going to be audited. You guys, you don't care, right? No, I think you need to put a date.
Yes, I agree.
5 years is big.
Well, that's why.
I knew
said-
our town would be audited at least every 5th year.
Right.
And I think 5 years is pretty good, because you don't have to go back 20 years to see what was done.
Right.
Yes,
That's just my opinion. Thank you.
I agree.
But it has to go out to a vote to the community to do this,
Yeah, one time.
to do a full audit versus just, the review will always be done every year,
Right.
Yeah.
but to do the full audit. So we're talking about a difference of $1 per unit.
We had a couple bad managers before him.
Sort of.
Right?
Yes. So Bob just said in the past, we have had managers, okay, but it doesn't take the board's right
Yeah, I know.
away to do the audit at any time.
No, I know, but I think.
I know.
But it,
Yeah.
for and an audit, for and an audit, for and an audit.
That's what I think it has to be worded that way.
Yeah, not indefinitely.
Because, indefinitely is pretty scary. That word is pretty scary.
I don't like indefinite.
Yeah.
Every
And-
5
and-
years I like. and
Yes.
then if-
That we
and
will
then
waive
I
an
guess you
audit for
can-
4 years, but on the 5th year, we will have a
vote.
full audit.
yeah.
Well, you can
Or
take
do
out the
the
word
full
indefinitely
audit,
too
yeah.
and just say a minimum every 5 years.
Either way.
I like
However-
the way Lorraine said it. I mean, it makes sense. If
As
you
long
want
as
to
that
make that motion,
indefinitely,
Lorraine, make the motion.
I move that we word it that we're going to waive a full audit every 5 years. We're going to do a review 4 years, and then an audit on the 5th year. And you can even put in what the 5th year would be, like
Right.
if it's 2025 or 2026. We're waiving the audit for 4 years. A full audit will be done on such and such a date. That way, people sign off, and they don't have to answer that questions for 4 years, because they know in the year 2025 or 26, there will be an audit, and we worded it every 5 years. I moved. Did I say I moved?
Can I ask a question? Have we ever had the votes come in that say that we want the audit versus,
Never.
okay.
No.
Not many.
You might have voted no, but it never was enough that, 350 voted yes, waive it, and 10 voted no.
Just with that terminology, what Lorraine just said, that still means that we can still have an audit at any time
Yes.
on that,
Yeah,
correct?
absolutely.
Because like I say, I think it's when the new manager, if Chris does leave, we can always go that way.
Yeah.
That's a board right.
Yes,
do
it is a
that.
board right to do that, that's right. We can change it anytime. We can have
So-
one anytime. Okay.
Go ahead, Carol.
So if you vote to have an audit on the 5th year and just the review every 4 years, does that have to come out for a vote then the next year after the audit? Do you have to re-vote on that, or
Yes.
you?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, so you can't pass something that says, this is what we're going to do? Okay. That,
We're
I
trying
wasn't
to,
clear
in other
about.
words, we're trying to get away from the indefinitely.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I mean, it'll be basically indefinitely, but I mean, it's,
Yeah.
we don't want to put that word indefinitely in there.
A new board coming in might want to do the opposite, they might change something, I don't know. That's our
Well, no,
opinion.
no, I know, but,
Every 5 years is not a big deal.
Yeah.
The board can always do that and say, we don't want to waive it anymore.
Yeah.
We're going back to doing an audit every year if they wanted to.
That's right. That's correct. Yeah.
so, but could you couldn't write it so that you could do it, so it wouldn't even have to go out for a vote?
I'm getting what she's saying, is could we have the unit owners vote? We want you to vote now, forever, for the rest of the time, that every 5th year, starting on such and such year,
Yeah.
an audit will be performed.
But you have new owners coming in, we
Yeah,
have a
can-
different attitude, or different problem. Why don't you just do it to 5 years, and then 5 years later do it again? You got a turnover of people, they might be different mindseted.
Again, I think you should
I
put the
think we're
minimum
getting-
of every 5 years.
I think it should, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't,
it should
was
be
it seconded, Lorraine's motion? I'll second it.
Yeah.
We're kicking this thing around quite a bit now, a little redundant, I believe.
You want to read the final thing, so we,
Waive audit 4 years in a row in lieu of a review and perform an audit on the 5th year.
And the date, the year, the 5th year. A full audit will be done.
on
ye-
such and such a date.
Yeah, in the year 2026, whatever it happens to be.
Now remember, that's not counting this year. You're gonna waive it one more
Right.
year.
Right.
You're gonna do an audit, then this is gonna start.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Okay. Here we go. Makosi,
Yes.
Daniil,
Yes.
Peretti,
Yes.
Longo,
Yes.
Brous,
I want to say yes, but I don't like the wording. I'm going to
Then
say no.
Okay. Kabitsky,
Yes.
McIntyre, yes.
Because what that means is we're going to put in a year, we're going to do an audit in 2028.
Yeah, whatever.
Something might come up that we want to do an audit again in 2029.
You can do that.
But you can.
Do that.
We can do
But then let me change that. Let's say 2030. And then maybe 2031, we already said we're going to have an audit. We had to have an audit in 2031 then, because that date's already been set. So we'll be doing 2 audits a year or 2 apart. That's the part I don't like, where if you put in there a minimum every 5 years, you get away from that.
Well, we already voted.
You voted, well.
It was
it
6 to
passed.
1.
It passed.
It passed, so somebody who voted yes would have to change it. You can't, because you vote, you're
Yeah, that's-
on the
that's
losing
fine.
side. So if they wanted to amend that, somebody that voted yes would have to make a new motion. Did you all understand what he was saying?
No.
All right, so let's say the audit is due in 2028. But for some reason, you guys decide, well, we're gonna do an audit in 2027.
Yeah,
Well, now you're stuck doing an audit again in 2028.
well, you can always change
But
it.
you know, my thought is, if we got ourselves into that situation, it's for a legitimate reason.
Right.
We're
Yes.
doing it.
Right.
So do that audit and then audit again and
Right.
see if
Yeah,
we're really out of trouble.
Right.
Right.
That's, I agree with Diane,
Yeah.
yeah.
Then you're not changing it.
I'm
not changing it.
You don't agree?
Yeah, this is a long meeting.
I know. When's lunch?
I need to learn shorthand or something.
Hasn't been in there yet.
All right. So that's over with. Let's go
It's
on.
over with, okay. Let's see, we're on amendment to the condo docs regarding Finance Committee. I'll let you take this one, Vic.
That's this one.
Hang on here a
Which one
second.
is that? This came out.
Where's my sheet?
Oh, God. insurance,
Finance Committee, where are you?
capital. Oh, this is way in the back. No,
I wasn't ready for you.
That's
I
all
need
right.
my other glasses.
your time.
It's way in the back, yeah. The last page.
The Budget Committee, where's the Finance Committee?
It's that one.
Do you have yours, Ian?
Yeah.
Where am I not
Okay.
finding it?
The one that looks like it's not.
Oh, okay.
This one is out of that package. Yeah. Oh, right.
And the operating expense.
This one,
The
finance one.
So this is an actual amendment to the condo docs.
Oh, okay.
You want me to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Good. Yeah, I see where we are now.
So this was a proposal that was brought up by a past treasurer, member of the finance committee, past president. And what it's basically doing, this would be sent out to all the unit owners for approval at the membership meeting. This is his wording. We, of course, would have to send this to Jacob, but we don't spend that money until you guys decide we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
So what he's basically asking to change is, and this came about when the board of directors wanted to borrow money from the reserves to pay the ponds and whatever.
Right.
Prior to making decisions in regard to borrowing, transferring, or not fully funding reserve funds, the board of directors shall request the advice of the finance committee. That's a new word. It was never in there.
Yeah.
The finance committee will review and comment to the board of the directors the utilization and disposition of non-operating funds, meaning just reserves. It further goes down to explain, it was not, also not in there, that there's 3-year terms, which was in there, but that they may succeed themselves. It's not, we let that happen, but it's not actually in the docs.
Okay.
And that means Sabrina's on and she can run again in 3 years. She can say, I want to stay on, and she gets to stay on.
Right.
The finance committee will elect its own chairperson who may not be the director member. Okay? That would be a change also. So that one is the one that has to do with the finance committee. The next one is for amending, I think it's by amending documents or something like that, amending the bylaws. Which is amend the bylaws. So in the past it was, you can amend the bylaws. It may originate with any board member of the board. So that could mean any board member can come up with, I want to make it that we can only have red Solo cups and that's it. Well,
Now it's the
so
majority.
what his proposal is by a majority of the board members.
Okay, yeah.
So at least 4 of you have to agree.
Right.
To send this out to all the unit owners, 4 of you have to agree that only red Solo cups are allowed in Monterey.
Okay.
Further goes down, with either case of the above legality, the proposed amendment shall be submitted, and this has always been in there. It has to be verified by the attorney and it has to be sent out to the unit owners for approval, which that's always been in there, he's just kind of defining it better. Again, both of these would have to be sent to Jacob.
Yeah.
He's got to put it in legal terms. But we're getting to the crunch line, because if this is something you want to do at this annual meeting,
Needs to go out.
we got to do it, right?
Somebody want to make a motion to accept it?
I make a motion, we accept it.
I second it.
Now discussion, right?
Yes.
The only discussion I had on it was, I'm assuming that this is sanctioned by the finance committee. Sabrina? I like it. Okay. Now, you're, like I say, we have a very good finance committee
Yeah.
team out there.
Yeah.
And we have to take your guys' advice, what you actually think, because you and your committee know more about finance than probably most of us here. And you were sanctioned, did you?
We discussed it at the meeting that we had back in April, but I'm bringing it back. I put it back
Okay.
on the agenda for this tomorrow. And we liked it when we discussed it in April, because we are brought into the decision, not just that,
Right.
you know, the board goes and just takes this money out,
Right.
and we don't know anything about it, because there's different ways.
Yeah.
If you discuss it with us, maybe there's different ways, like maybe you can borrow off of like one of the, not the reserve funds, but the restrictive funds. There's maybe
right,
ways
right.
we can discuss
Yeah,
things,
okay.
where you're not just fleecing an account, and then we
Yeah.
don't know about it, then we're.
Sorry to put you on the spot all the time, but you're
It's-
That's okay.
expertise on
it's a-
that,
it's a-
you know?
it's a check
I
and-
feel
That's
more,
okay.
I feel more
I
comfortable
like
that
it.
way.
I like
Okay.
it that.
Thank you.
And that you come to us
Yep.
with decisions on.
See, when I
It's ba-
vote, I like to be
It's
comfortable.
basically a checks and balance thing.
Yes.
So we got more
got it.
people involved in it, and it makes sense to do that, especially with a new manager coming in.
Yes,
Possibly.
exactly.
Okay, we have a second on it. Do roll call, Diane?
Sure. Makosi,
Yes.
Daniil,
Yes,
Peretti,
Yes.
Longo,
Yes.
Brous,
Yes.
Kabinski.
Yes.
McIntyre, yes.
That, Chris, you can get that out in time for the thing, right? Just for-
Send it to Jacob as soon as we're done. We'll send it over.
It's got to go out by when? February 1st or, no? Well, anyway,
When is the meeting? March?
March
4th?
4th.
At least 3 weeks before that, so.
We got to do, yeah.
Okay, we have a resolution for a change in the Budget Committee resolution. There's no number on it yet, but it's going to...
working capital. You
Working
skip
capital
one.
first?
You skip
Okay, I
one.
got that one in there. Working capital
Working
down at the
capital.
bottom.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lorraine, I'll let you take that. Go ahead.
I guess me. Okay, so again, this is a resolution that changes the existing resolution if there is one. Okay, this is something that we've been doing for about 15 years. That we have made it so that we have an additional $100,000 of operating cash on hand at all times. And $50,000 for the land lease.
Right.
What this resolution is saying, that to lower it to only 50,000 of working capital and 50,000 towards the land lease. I'm not recommending this.
I don't, yeah, I was going to just say
No,
the
because
same.
we're not changing,
We
yeah.
have had the 100,000 in there for at least 15 years.
150.
150 all total, exactly.
Right.
We've been doing it for 15 years at least. It comes in handy, especially in times during season. Water fluctuates, gas fluctuates because it's being used more. It always gives us that working capital. By reducing it by only 50,000, you're gonna maybe offset one reserve account for 1 year.
For 1 year.
That's it. It's no benefit to you guys. It's not that we fund this every year. It's money that we saved up over a period of time and we keep as working capital.
Right.
Um,
I'm not for it.
I'm not for it either, no.
I'm not for it.
Doesn't make any sense to do that.
Who recommended this?
Jim Hensel.
Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're saving $50,000 for 1 year.
1 year,
And
that's
that's
it.
all it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody want to make a motion?
To not accept it.
To not accept.
I move that we do not accept
Second.
that. I want to leave it at 150,000.
Sorry.
Diane? Roll call.
Makosi,
Yes.
Daniil,
Yes.
Peretti,
Yes.
Longo,
Yes.
Brous,
Yes.
Kabinski.
Yes.
McIntyre, yes.
The next one we have is a property insurance escrow.
No, we don't actually have that on the budget.
That's not on the budget, it's not on
The
there.
reason
Okay.
being is when you guys discussed it at the workshop
It's in,
meeting.
it's in my sheets here.
Right, but it's in mine too.
Okay.
But you guys did not say to add it to the budget. When you discussed it at the workshop meeting, it would have increased the budget every single year by 15% of whatever the cost was. So you all agreed that you were not going to vote on that, or add it to the agenda.
Okay.
Get down to the end.
Budget committee.
Yep, the Budget Committee resolution.
Yeah. Two warrants, okay.
Okay, so the budget community resolution, the only thing that's being changed
Yeah.
is the budget committee used to consist of the manager, the treasurer, who is the chairman, the vice president, a member of the finance committee, and an owner at large. What he is recommending, again, this is Jim Hensel, is removing the manager from the budget committee, which he actually came to me first, and I said, I have absolutely no problem with it. I've always wondered, why is your manager on your actually a member of your budget committee? I present it to you. Of course I'm gonna vote yes. You know, it's up to you guys. So that's the changes, the treasurer, vice president, one member of the finance committee, and 2 members at large.
Yeah.
Okay? The next change is, he's putting a little more onus on the committee, that it is really up to them. It doesn't give a time period, but it's putting it up to the committee that they should be double checking the manager's work. They should maybe be looking at bills. Also looking more at the income and expense statement, things like that, but also going out to other condos and seeing what their budgets look like and comparing them to Monterey's. Now, I've got to tell you that that has not been done in
Years.
17 years, other than Vic always was able to get a hands of a community that's over the bridge, and we did compare ours to theirs.
How easy is it to get that information?
That's what I wondered,
That's
how
gotta-
easy.
I would,
Give our budget out.
that's,
All you have to do is say you want to become an owner.
I mean, I don't think it's an easy
Buy a unit.
process. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, and he does say not less than triennially. So I guess that's like every 3 years. It's going to be up to the budget committee to go out. Again,
I think, number one, I think it's going to be very difficult to get that information from other communities, all right? If you have a budget committee and you're going over line item by line item based on last year's budget expenses, actual, what we spent, a budget is a guesstimate. I mean, because we don't know how much prices are going to increase or all. We go by, in Chris's case, because he's been here a long time, when we have a new manager, the budget committee is going to have to review it very carefully. But Chris has been here a long time. He has an idea how prices go up. So it would be difficult to get someone else's budget, I think. The way it's done now, it seems to work.
The only question I have, Chris, is this, is that I know I've attended all the budget meetings in the past few years and so forth, and you used to bring the whole thing together, and we go line by line. It's very important, I would think, that you would be there at that meeting, so we can have interaction, saying, Chris, if you're not at that meeting, if you're not part of that meeting, who's going to explain that, why is this $4,000 from newspapers or magazines? You always had that, why?
The budget is still set up exactly by the manager, and he still has to present it, he or she. Still has to present it.
Right.
And we have done it line item by line.
Yes,
for years,
I know.
And everybody seems to like it that way.
Correct.
That part's not being removed.
Oh.
That's still in there. It's just that the manager is no longer a voting
Voting
member.
member.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm not sure you're going to
So
vote on
if
it.
you like everything but it is expected that the committee will not less than triennially exchange budgets with several communities, remove that part if you
Yes.
don't want that.
Either
Remove
that or
that.
change that it's expected. I mean, if they want to go out and try, that's fine, but
If possible, the committee,
Yeah, if possible.
something to that.
Not as
so it's
expected.
still kind of in there, so if you wanted to do it, you could.
Yeah. We don't want to have to do it.
No.
Yeah.
Hasn't been a motion yet, right?
No.
No.
And it's with several others. I don't think. it
I'll
should-
make a motion that we
Yeah.
accept the,
Hang
I
on a
don't think it
second.
needs to
hang
be
on a
in
Anybody
there.
comments on that?
second. Go ahead.
Comments?
Okay, rather than using the triennial, trying to get budgets from around, because that was the thing, when I read that kind of bugged me. But how about if, like, a few of the really large expenses, maybe, I don't know, maybe we see if we try to get estimates, maybe, see if we can find somebody who's good at whatever and get it maybe for a lower price, like look
Like-
that.
Like
I don't know.
insurance?
Yeah, exactly. Like try to, maybe that's what, I don't know. I think he's trying to find a way to lower expenses. And that's
Yeah.
what,
Chris
but
does
the budget
that
thing,
now.
Chris does that now.
Now,
Yeah.
yeah, so,
And he wants to make it so that the budget committee does more of that.
he wants budget
But let's
mo-
just-
oversight.
Let's just take insurance, for example, because that is our biggest thing and what you brought up. So you can't go out and get bids for insurance because we're commercial. It's not like a homeowner's where you can call up Allstate, State Farm, or whatever. We have to get our insurance through an agent. You have to make an agent the agent of record. He is the only person that can go out and get prices. If you change it and give it to a different insurance agent, they're the only person that can go out and get it. So insurance is, if you want to work on it on something else, gas, we went to AmeriGas from Feral Gas, that you can do, but insurance is not the good example for that. But what other big things? There's no other person but FP&L. There's no other person but Salvatore Water Management. There's no other person but Waste Management. We can't go to anyone else. That's who has the contract for us. Same with the water company. We can only get our water from Stewart. We're not in
Makes
Stewart.
sense.
We pay a 5% fee because we're not actually in the town of Stewart. We're in unincorporated Martin County. You're right, though, that was his thinking of compare it to other places. But how many places have a golf course? So you gotta take that out. How many places don't have land leases? The majority of them. You've gotta take that out. I think it's putting a big onus on the budget committee members
Yeah.
that are volunteers.
That's
that
right.
You're gonna call another condo and say, hey, you know, on the budget committee, would you do this? What do you pay for this? What do you,
We did that with Hotwire.
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah, and it worked.
Well, that was,
I think I think it might be alluding to one thing. I think it might be alluding to the thing like saying we go over to Circle Bay or those and say, okay, what would if we all get together and say, okay, look, we want an insurance company. I'm sure an insurance company is going to give you a better deal. We'll just use that for argument for three complexes rather than just one. The competitive. I think that's what he's alluding to. I think, but expected to do it, I think, is a little thing. If
I would-
possible or something, you know, it's recommended maybe or. Something of that nature, we can't be expected to do that.
You know what,
I mean,
I would take it right out of there.
Take it-
I
yeah, I
mean,
would.
leave it up to the budget committee whether they want it. They can still go out and do it, it doesn't make any difference.
right.
If you want to go out and research it.
Take that entire line
Yeah.
out.
Yes, the whole thing.
If you want to research other complexes, that's fine. I mean, anybody can go out and do that. I mean, it's not, whether you'll get anywhere with it or not, who knows, but I mean, you can try, you know.
Okay, so is that
I mean,
the
is every,
recommendation? Are you gonna make a motion to that, or?
you want to make,
no?
anybody want to make a
I
motion?
move that we remove that section from the Budget Committee resolution.
I'll second it.
Are you recommending that we accept it with the elimination of that?
The committee itself, I'm sure, will probably, if they feel it's necessary, do it, you know, check it out.
It can still be done regardless. It
Let's
doesn't.
back up here a second. We don't have a motion on the floor yet to accept this resolution.
Right, the motion so far was just to remove that section.
Okay, so you want to make, somebody wants to make a
I
motion
would
to
make a-
accept it with the elimination of that part.
I move that we accept this resolution with the exclusion of going outside to compare expenses.
Close, yeah.
I have a reservation with that. I can't we just leave it where, you know, it's recommended or something of that, so it would refresh their memory or something? Because like I say, with the Hotwire thing we went through, everybody's very cooperative. We called. All you got to do is make a phone call and so forth. I hate to say this thing dropped and wait by the wayside. Nobody's going to do nothing about it. At least if they say, oh, geez, if possible, we can do it. You can, you can't do it. At least it's there so you can see it to try to get some information. Because I think that we did with back when, is that
Hotwire.
we get 3 or 4 companies, associations together. Well, okay, the fire department, for example, you want to buy a truck. Okay, you got 4 different departments that are going to buy a truck. We got 4 companies that want to buy this thing instead of 1, and they're going to give you a better deal. That's what I think he's alluding to this thing, I think. Because remember, Chris, they used to have those meetings where we used to get together with all the not the managers, the president, yeah. Is that in existence?
No.
No, that was a good idea if they all come together. That's my personal opinion. I hate to see it drop completely out of there, and I understand, expect it, I agree with that.
But Bobby, I mean, the fact remains that we did it already. We took the initiative, went out and checked out the other companies that were looking for a better price or a better deal.
Yeah, like what I'm saying.
So why does it have to be put in there? I mean,
Well-
it's something, it's almost like common sense.
Well, common sense goes a long way with a lot of people, but we did our own initiative for the thing with the hot wire, and I know Diane and
Yeah, it was well done,
I'm
too.
not sure,
It was,
but they're
appreciated.
talking about the budget committee, that if it's in there, they maybe, what do you think, you guys, the finance committee, I mean, what do you think on it? You guys on a finance committee? Keith, you're on finance committee, right, or budget committee, or? Yeah. Yeah. I didn't mean to put anybody on the spot,
Peg,
but we're
Peg,
trying
can
to
we-
utilize
Can we
our...
grab the microphone from you, Peg, for Keith?
I mean, just following up on what Chris said, it seems like there's very limited
Yes.
vendors that we have a lot of negotiating with. So to make the committee do it, or highly recommend the committee to do it, doesn't seem necessary. Is it best practice? You know, maybe the committee has a particular thing during a particular budget cycle that they want to explore, then leave it up to them to decide that.
Anyone on a budget committee who sees an expense that's too high will go further and check it out, really. Or will question the manager. Why is this so high? Tell me why. This is what we spent last year, but now you're increasing it by 50%. That's things that doesn't happen. We can go, the budget committee can go on their own. I don't think it needs to be written in there. We've got very intelligent people here, and anyone who volunteers on a budget committee feels responsible for the whole community. So they would go out on their own. I don't think it needs to be written, because I think that is going to prevent some people from joining the budget committee, because they're going to say, gee, we have to go and check Circle Bay and all that, to Windjammer, to see what they're, so I don't think that's necessary.
Something like this, at the committee's discretion.
Okay.
The committee will have the authority to compare prices with various vendors and other alike condominium communities.
Great.
That sounds good to me.
Lot
At
better.
the discretion. Like
Yes,
Rick
right.
just said, it
Right.
might be something-
That's fine.
Chris, what do you mean you're coming in and garbage pickups going up 90,000?
Yeah,
Right.
we have a sharp budget committee now and a sharp finance committee now. In the future, they might not be here and so forth. If somebody doesn't see something in writing, but I agree with that. Whatever you just said, that sounded, to my opinion, that sounded great. Very
Let's-
good.
The bottom line, that it said, it is expected the committee shall. If you put in what I just read, at the
Right.
committee's
Yeah.
discretion, and you guys can word it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the committee's discretion, the committee will have the authority to compare prices with various vendors and others alike condominium communities.
Perfect.
I have no problem.
They have that authority right now.
Well,
It's not in
Right, but it's
I don't
in
know.
writing.
It's not in
Let's-
writing.
Going,
Yes, we did it, but it doesn't say that you actually have the authority to do it.
but going back to what Jim has put in here, it says, to analyze the expenditures of the larger accounts. Well, you can't do anything with the larger accounts because we're at their mercy.
Yeah.
You want to look at landscaping, you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You want to look at the accountant, you could.
Trash removal.
but I think you would,
No, not.
Trash man, no. We're
They
stuck
have
with
the
waste
contract
management.
with Mark County. We can't even get somebody
Okay.
else with a different
Yeah.
dumpster.
Well,
I
we
think,
got- we
Vic,
got-
I
we
think
got
that
our own
covers what
control
you
of that
just said, I
anyway,
think, because it covers that in a nutshell.
Yeah.
It gives them the latitude net. I know these guys know it, but new people coming in, if they don't see that, they're gonna, oh, I don't have to do that, or whatever. But anyway, I think
Okay,
that's good.
so can you rescind your
Rescind-
resolution?
rescind the resolution.
And make a new one?
I rescind it, and what am I doing?
Okay. Accept the resolution
I-
with the change in wording for the committee's authority.
Change,
I'll know what to write.
yeah, change the resolution that the committee, again, repeat?
Has the authority.
Has the, yep,
Accept the budget committee resolution.
Yeah.
With the change that the committee has the authority,
okay.
and I'll word the rest.
Okay.
You don't have to repeat
Right.
all that.
I'm pretty
I'll write it.
I move that I rescind my first and then accept the
Resolution.
resolution.
With
Again,
the-
I
with the-
forgot.
With the changes.
With the changes.
Okay.
I second it.
I second it, or whoever, somebody did, okay.
Let's vote on it real quick.
Okay, let's vote. Makosi.
Yes.
Daniil.
Yes.
Ferretti.
Yes.
Longo.
Yes.
Rouse.
Yes.
Kabinski.
Yes.
McIntyre, yes.
Very good.
Okay. Owner's request to speak on non-agenda items. Anybody have anything to say? There we go.
Pat Ellington, 44. You were talking about your CPR equipment. I recommend, or I'll suggest that you use what,
That was on the agenda, so we can't talk about that.
sorry.
That's all right. Anybody else? No, nothing?
No.
I do have a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
I've been approached by a number of people this week in regards to the pickleball court. I personally never saw the letter from the planning committee. Apparently, the planning committee approved and sent it on to the budget, or to us, for discussion. I do remember we had a discussion on it, but I'm wondering what was actually in the letter from the planning committee?
Never saw it.
You never saw it? Okay.
Never saw it either, I didn't see it
I
either.
didn't see it either.
Okay, then I think before the decision should have been made, we should go back to the planning committee and say, please, let's see this letter.
Yeah, well,
Okay,
Okay?
it's not a
Yeah,
problem.
that's
Yep.
fine.
I got one other comment. I know, I think as a board member, we can request somebody to speak, even though they didn't sign up on a non-agenda item, if they have a certain expertise at a certain issue. That's why I strongly recommend that even though you didn't sign up to talk about an item, you might have some pertinent information, you might be an expert on something with the AED or CPR. So I recommend, as a board member, that you can speak on that particular item, because we normally don't do that, but somebody might have any expertise on a particular item like that that we don't know about.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
You can
whatever
make
you...
a comment.
Go ahead, Pat.
Sorry about that.
Oh.
I don't know all the rules. I was just going to make a suggestion because you were looking for money for your CPR equipment. I suggest you use the money from the second time around. I know that normally goes to the House Committee to, you have to remember also this year, the economy's not good. We've moved the location of the second time around. We may have a great response, we may not. But it's just a means of getting some extra cash if that's real important to this community, those CPR equipment. That was all I was going to suggest as a means to get some money.
Okay.
Because we contributed everything to make it that second time,
Okay.
you know, so it's just a suggestion.
Yeah.
Good one.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Pat.
I have a comment or a question. I'd like to know the status of the roof situation. What are we doing, Chris? Is what's happening?
We have bids out there right now.
Bids are out?
Bids are out. In fact, we have some bids come in. We have 3 bids that came in.
We'll actually be discussing it tomorrow at
Yeah.
the finance committee meeting.
Oh, okay.
We have got 3 people that have bid, we're waiting for one to add one thing that they missed. Depending on which company, if they can get material, we are considering starting the roof project immediately.
Perfect. Good answer. Thank you.
Hang on a minute.
Answer.
I just want to say about the AEDs. Have we approached any of our politicians, like Brian Mast, to maybe donate one to our community because we are 55 and over?
I mean, that's something to look into.
Yes.
You know,
That would be a good thing to look into. Because
Good
he's
idea.
very compassionate, and I think we should go to him. One of you should go to him and ask him if he would donate one.
Good
idea.
Good point, good idea.
One other question on that, the Mora. Is there any extra funds with the Mora? I know at one time, a few years back, I think Mora was going to purchase 2, if I remember correctly. I don't know, Chris, you remember that? A couple
I don't
years,
think-
way back when, I think they were interested in purchasing one by Mora. And all the people that live here belong to Mora, and I don't know what the financial status is of the Mora, but it's something to look into. Who's, Tom, or,
Financial status of Warren is very low.
okay,
Okay.
Very few dollars to spend.
okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, no, that's just a,
I mean, it may be something where
It's always an option.
all
Yeah.
these committees can donate a little bit, you know what I mean? And
Oh,
maybe the bulk will
absolutely.
come out of somewhere else.
Absolutely. It's never been something that we wouldn't do.
Right, no. I
Always
understand.
do a
You guys are
scramble.
just in the process of approving this.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
We do
So-
scrambles to generate funds, we could do that too.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah, that's a possibility. I mean, there's different ways to go around it.
yep.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get one for free, who knows?
Yes.
My feeling is it's for the entire community. It's not just Mora. So I think it should be purchased by either the board of directors or put a line in the budget to buy it.
Either way, we're going to pay for it
I think I
anyhow.
already suggested that, didn't I, Chris? Didn't I say we should buy it? Yeah, and if anyone wants to contribute, they can contribute, but I think I already suggested that we should do it.
Okay, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Oh, you're funding? Oh, you donate?
Find,
Oh, I thought you were going to donate money out of your pocket. I misunderstood.
I think the
you,
first
sorry.
thing, I think the first thing we should do here is,
You're scared of me.
So Sue is working on that based on information that came from the workshop committee, your meeting then. So she has a CPR class that she's getting started, and they're also going to come in and give you information on the actual AED. What is the cost of it? What does it cost to maintain it? Who does all of that? We're just in the process of it.
I think the maintenance part of it will probably fall on us once we get it, so it doesn't make any difference.
I just want to be clear that you've approved that we may have AEDs here, correct?
Yes.
So I will reschedule the CPR course to include training in AEDs. That was not done before because we didn't have approval. So I will change the date, and I'll have them come and do CPR and AED training.
Okay.
As long as that's okay. We got
Sounds
that?
good. Thank you, thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Carol,
And then they'll let us know who actually comes in and inspects these, how often they do it, and what's the cost going to be.
Right.
yeah. Yeah.
Who else?
Carol,
I think the first thing we should do here is a suggestion that Kathy had. Let's contact our
yeah, well,
congressman
first we'll go that
and
route.
see if we can get some money out of him. I've done it up home and gotten lots of funds.
Is it election time?
It doesn't
For the
need to be election
politicians?
time.
Go ahead, Carol.
Somewhat along the same lines as Kathy asking for the donation of the AED, but with funds as tight as they are there grants out there that you can apply for condo associations? I mean, such as like in schools and different other places, you
There
can
may be.
write grants. I don't know if there's anything like that. I was just
There may
wondering.
be, it's something you'd have to look into, that's all.
very limited. If you guys remember, we tried doing it with the ponds.
Yes.
Because of drainage, et cetera,
Yeah, yeah.
we were turned down. We tried doing it for something else. We did it again, another one, and no, there's nothing available, we don't do that. And because we're not a municipality. They do it for towns, they do it for, little cities, they do it for the fire department. We are privately owned. It's almost like asking, I have a house. I'd like to have a street light in front. Well, sure, sir, we'll put one in, but you're paying for it.
Yeah.
But it's got to be more specific of what we're asking for, I think. Always good, though. If anything we can get for free,
Yes.
if it's for free, it's for me.
I mean, it averages out between $6 and $8 a unit, even if somebody wanted to donate. So, I mean, it's, but maybe we could pick up money from unit owners and then, some of our committees can put in. I mean, there's different options. Go ahead, Kathy.
It's an expense.
You still
Yeah.
have state and federal monies out there
Yeah.
that we can check.
try
Yeah, I
to
mean,
get
it's
And you
something to
would
look
need
into.
the politician to do it. You could get the senator, you could get the congressman.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, because how many people here are here year-round? Okay?
Almost half and half.
All right. Do you vote here? Do you vote here? Okay, there you go.
Kathy's got money from politicians. I have gotten money from politicians for our Little League. It's out there. You have to ask for it.
You don't know if you don't ask.
That's right.
So, Okay.
We just have to identify who's going to be the asker.
Victor.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay, good point.
Anybody else with anything at all? No? Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Nice.